Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to another daily live stream. Today is Sunday, August 17th. Happy Sunday, everyone. End of the week. Might be Monday for some others, but for me, it's 5 p.m. here. We are actually streaming a little earlier today because I'm refeeding tonight and I don't really want to eat at 9 or 10 p.m. Last time I tried doing that earlier this week when I had a Wednesday night live stream and I was literally falling asleep as I was trying to stay awake for dessert. Before I begin though, hello everyone. But also I see that R.A. Mac has been or is part of the Finally Fasting fam. R.A. Mac, thank you for your support. I appreciate you. For those who are part of the Finally Fasting fam, can we throw some F's up for R.A. Mac? For people who are Finally Fasting members, you can get your name on the intro of the live streams. You get to use custom emoji. And if you are the higher tier, you get to join in on the Wednesday night live streams. You also get to watch all of the old Wednesday night live streams. So R.A. Mac, thank you again for the support. I appreciate you. Before I begin, as well as saying hi to R.A. Mac, Thomas, Patty, Josh, Aisha, Spike, EJ, Smell Like OTR. Am I saying that right? Or Smelly? Either way. Cap Rising, Tanisha, Alexandria, excuse me, Carnivorous Teacher, Enut, Lynn. Hello. Welcome. Appreciate you all being here. I know there was a question right at the top of the hour. Thomas says, I've lost 25 kg since March after many years of being overweight. Congratulations, Thomas. I love that for you. Now my spine feels hard when resting on a chair or a sofa. Is it normal? It's more noticeable with less fat, or have I lost too much? I mean, I can't say for sure. You're 6'3", you're 185 pounds. You put it here in your other comment. I mean, that height and weight seems, I think, pretty average. I'm not the one to answer that because I'm literally a foot shorter than you. I'm 5'3". But when it comes to, and for anyone else I know there are some people here who are probably around that height. So please feel free to share what that number is, if that's an average height or an average weight. But when it comes to having pain on your spine, I don't have an issue with that at my current height and weight, but I know that when I sit too long when I'm driving, if I'm driving for a long distance at my current weight, my ass starts to hurt. Just putting it out there. So it might be different for some people, but for me, I know I have issues when it comes to that. So, where was I? 651 days of my journey, 651 days of practicing imperfect consistency. Has it been 651 days of perfection? Of course not. It's been a lot of good days, some bad days, but for the most part, the good days outweigh the bad days. It's one of the reasons I was able to lose 80 pounds in less than 5 months, but it's also one of the reasons that I've been able to keep it off nearly 2 years later. 93 weeks I've been doing this. And it's not just about fasting, right? This journey is about working on my habits, practicing good, healthy habits. The title of this video is pretty straightforward, right? Is when it comes to fasting, it's a great tool. It's a powerful tool. It's something that many of us use. I mean, at the end of the day, we all fast. If you sleep, you fast. It's just a matter of, do you want to push it a little further? But all the fasting in the world, doing one 7-day fast, doing one 1-month fast, doing one 40-day fast, what does that all matter if your habits don't change along the way? If you do a 40-day fast and you get to your goal weight, that's wonderful. That's amazing. But if you can't keep the weight off, if you haven't instilled good, healthy habits within that, what does it all mean? Especially if you gain the weight back. I am at a place where I've lost the weight and I've gained weight after losing it all. I didn't gain all the weight back, but I put on 10 pounds, 15 pounds. But every time that happens, I learn more about myself. Every time that happens, I dig down and figure out why I'm doing what I'm doing. And then I tweak, and then I optimize. And then I've come to the realization that habits play a big part of it, which has changed my fasting routine. Used to do 90-hour fasts. Now I do much shorter ones because I have been evolving when it comes to the other habits that I instill in me. I've recently done a 90-hour fast. It doesn't mean that I'm going to give up long fasts forever. I will still incorporate them here and there when I find necessary, but I have new tools that I can use today when it comes to eating better, when it comes to my exercise. I can apply those tools and use them to my advantage, knowing how to eat better, knowing how to make more mindful choices. I have built those habits along the way. 93 weeks of figuring this shit out. And for many of you who are here right now on a Sunday, as you're watching this on a Sunday, did you come here because you're ready to start tomorrow? You're ready to go 100% tomorrow because you had a really great weekend, but you've done that same old story of telling yourself, the weekend is here, I might as well enjoy it. And then on Monday, I'm going to go hard. On Monday, I'm going to give 110. But how many times have you been doing that to yourself? It doesn't mean that you can't enjoy the weekends. It doesn't mean that you can't have a day of overeating or eating some of the things that you normally don't eat. But if this is a recurring thing that's happening every single day, one of the questions is, okay, if you overdid it on a Friday and you drank a ton and you ate a ton, or you did one or the other, or you did both. I've been known to do both many times. Does that mean the Saturday has to be the same? Does that mean the Sunday has to be the same? This is what I mean when I talk about imperfect consistency. You can enjoy yourself. You can have a good time. But the only thing that I think is important is that you are still aware of what you're doing. Sometimes that awareness and accountability, it takes habits to get into that. That is why I'm always hitting my timer. That's a habit that's instilled in me. I hit my timer. It lets me know that I'm either fasting or feasting. I log my data because it keeps me aware. I make mindful choices today because I'm aware, right? I'm not just turning around and saying, forget it. What's the point, right? Instead, it's really important to keep your habits strong. That is how you will get results down the road. That is how you will eventually evolve and fix the bad habits that you have. For all of us, right? We're doing this for accountability. I have been doing daily live streams now for, I think today's 3 weeks of live streams, nonstop, every single day, throwing a live stream out there because I'm accountable. I'm trying to be transparent. And if this is helpful for you, please share with us in the comments or in chat. Sometimes that accountability, if you're doing it by yourself and you have no one to hold you accountable, sometimes it's really easy to fall off. Sometimes it's easy to be like, well, you know what? I said I was going to do this, but I didn't tell anyone. No one knows. No one's holding me accountable. So what's the point anyway? For me, for other people that I coach, for many other people that I work with, sometimes we just need that extra push. Sometimes it takes doing something different to get that fire underneath you to keep going. I say this a lot, but imagine if you had to talk to me tomorrow, face to face on a Zoom call. Imagine that you had to talk to me and keep me posted on your journey. Imagine if we worked together and you had a spreadsheet where you shared your accountability, logging your weight, logging how long your fast was, what you ate. I'm not saying all of those things, maybe all of those things, maybe logging one or two of those things. But imagine that you had to show up and be accountable tomorrow. Would that help you get through it? I say this because that is why I do daily live streams. That accountability is really helpful for me. That accountability really helps to keep me in check. It's one of the reasons that I am very transparent about what I eat. And I've been filming everything I eat because I want people to see that, yes, these are the decisions that I made when it comes to eating. These are how many calories I put in, because I know that if I don't share that, if I don't give myself a rough number of what I'm eating and how I'm eating, it's so easy for me to fall off track. It has gotten better. My diet has become a lot better, a lot cleaner than what it used to be. But it takes a combination of healthy habits, of being accountable, of being transparent in that type of way. So if this is helpful for you, show accountability today. Share with us today. I see it in chat here. I appreciate all of you for sharing with us and being transparent and accountable in that way. I know not everybody is able to do that, but if it's helpful for you, continue to do so. I'm doing it, no shame, right? Not hiding anything, putting it right in front of you on camera. If it's helpful, give it a shot, see how it feels. When we talk about habits, a lot of this is built through habit. My fasting protocol has changed over time, but it's changed because I show up and I'm accountable and the habits have stuck. I hit a timer every day or when I start eating and when I start fasting because the habits have stuck. I've made better choices when it comes to eating because my habits have stuck. My habits have stuck. It doesn't mean that every day is going to be a perfect day. It doesn't mean that I don't have or run into stress or issues every now and then. But the habits are so instilled that when I wake up first thing in the morning, I step on the scale, I get my clothes on, I walk out the door, I go for my walk, I lift, and it's built in a routine. I do my Tagalog or Japanese lessons because the routine is so built in me. I've literally been doing Japanese lessons every day now for the past 7 months. Tagalog lessons for the past, well, not as long, but these are habits that have stuck with me. These are good, healthy habits that have stuck with me. A question for all of you is, what's one good habit that you want to build today? What's one good habit that you can get yourself into today? And it doesn't have to be this big leap. It could be just spending 5 minutes learning a new habit and doing it every single day. At the same time, maybe it isn't building a good habit, but maybe what it is instead is, what is a bad habit that you're working on dropping? What is something that you know you have an issue with? Is it starting over every Sunday night? That could be one habit that you begin to drop, where it no longer becomes day one, day one, day one every Monday, but that it becomes a continuing journey for yourself. But it could be something else. What is a bad habit that you want to drop, that you're tired of doing every single week? And it also doesn't mean that habit is going to be gone forever. But what it means is you are conscious and aware of that habit, and you are making sure that you are working to break that. You are rewiring your brain to tell yourself it's time to do something different. It's time to break the bad habit. It's time to build the good habit. Breaking bad habits, building good ones. Our whole foundation is built on our habits throughout the day. If you were to list out your daily or what your life looks like in a day, you can pick and be like, I get up, I step on the scale, I walk out the door, I go for a walk, or I get up, I scroll on my phone for an hour, I eat breakfast, I go to Starbucks and go through the drive-through. At lunchtime, I contemplate whether I should have brought a lunch. Instead, I go out and get something. If you were to list all of these things and see how often they happen every day, you can pick the good habits and the bad habits. And you can start figuring out, which ones can I cross out? Which are the ones that happen so frequently that it might be hard to eliminate all of those habits in one shot, but they can at least be less frequent. You don't have to break the habit and say they're gone forever. You don't have to live this all or nothing type of life. You all know my story, or at least most of you do. The all or nothing is so embedded in me, the all or nothing type thinking. Of course, when I came back on YouTube, I came back strong. I did 90-hour fasts. I refed for 4 hours and then did a 90-hour fast again, and then a 90-hour fast again, and then a 90-hour fast again. I did it for 5 months straight. I lost 80 pounds that way. That was my all. I was giving it my all. But before I came back, it was 2+ years of nothing. It was 2+ years of binging. It was 2+ years of locking myself in my apartment. It was 2+ years of not communicating with anyone, falling off the face of the earth. There's a lot that can be achieved when you give it your all. And there's a lot that can happen negatively when you give nothing at all. Nothing at all. All or nothing. But you know what I mean, right? I think there's nothing wrong with giving it your all. There's nothing wrong with giving 110% or whatever you want to call it. But when you find yourself in the nothing side, when you are doing absolutely nothing, when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't really want to fast today. Fuck it. I'm just going to go order takeout right now. And then ordering takeout also means that you aren't working on the things that you need to work on. You had a walk anticipated for the day, but you're like, well, I'm already eating, so why even walk? Why even go to the gym? Why even do X, Y, and Z? When you start finding yourself doing the nothing part, that's where there's an issue. There's nothing wrong if you want to order takeout. There's nothing wrong if you have a day of overeating. But if you're giving everything else up for the day, you're doing yourself a disservice. You're not helping yourself at all, because all you're doing then is reinforcing your bad habits to continue. You're reinforcing that cycle of bad habits to continue over and over and over. Those habits come back to me still. One of the reasons I have been doing my daily live streams is because I ended up gaining 30 pounds in 5 weeks, not even a month ago. From June 19th to July 22nd, I gained 30 pounds. How? I went on vacation. And then when I came back, I tried to get back on my routine, but I ended up mindlessly eating. I ended up overeating. I tried to get back on my routine, but then I found myself continuing to mindlessly eat to the point where I ended up binging for 2 days in a row for the first time in over 620 plus days. These are old habits that come back to play. But I've said this before, the binging, that type of eating happened because I became so stressed out. I started to emotionally eat. There's no TV behind me. There's nothing on these shelves right now. One of the reasons I was stress eating and overeating and binge eating was because about 6 weeks ago or so, I made the decision to move out of this apartment. I have to be out of this apartment in about 10 days. I'm moving out of this country. And because of all of that stress that I had, I ended up going back to bad habits. I overate. I mindlessly ate. I was eating to avoid dealing with all of the shit that I had to do. I ended up binge eating. And the thing is, as I did that week after week after week for 5 weeks and gaining that much weight, where did that leave me? How much of the stuff that I had to sell sold? How much of the stuff that I had to put into my storage unit, how much of it got there? How much did I advance in getting the shit that I needed to get done? Didn't go anywhere because I kept avoiding and I kept using food as my answer. If you live this all or nothing lifestyle, you're spinning your wheels and you're probably digging yourself a bigger hole than when you started. So what did I do? What did I do to get out of that hole? 3 Sundays ago, I said, or however, 3 Sundays ago, right? It's been 3 weeks. I said, it's time to be more accountable. It's time to get your shit together. And that's exactly what I've done. For the last 3+ weeks, I have been fasting. I have completed now 11 rounds of ADF. The 30 pounds that I gained, I have lost about 25 of those pounds. I've done 11 rounds of ADF. I've done a 90-hour fast on top of that. Currently, I'm 41 plus hours fasted. 41 in 40 minutes almost. And I have lost almost the majority of the weight that I've gained on in 5 weeks. The 30 pounds I gained in 5 weeks, I've lost about 25 of those pounds in 3 weeks. And when I got started, when I got back into my rhythm, I said, okay, Jerome, you got to move out of here. Get shit done. Did it mean that I just went insane and did everything? No, because I don't have the time. But every single day since then, I have been trying to bust my ass and get shit done. Sell this, put this up on eBay, sell my car, figure out where I'm going to be moving to, figuring out if I have a place to live when I move out of the country. Every single day, trying to get every single piece situated. But the nice thing is, every day that passes by, it feels like more and more is getting done. I get up every morning at around 5:45 now. I'm kind of waking up with the sun. And I just start busting my ass doing everything that I've needed to do. And here's the thing. I haven't had time to post videos on YouTube. I'm just doing live streams. Because I can't post videos on YouTube, am I saying, well, today's shot, fuck it. You might as well just eat and do nothing? Because the one thing that you said you were going to do, be regular on posting videos, you're not able to do. No, I didn't do that. Instead, I said, let me pivot. Let me do live streams every day. This is easier for me right now while I take care of all my other shit. And you can worry about it when you're moved out and you are in a better place to do your regular work. When I overeat on some days, when I go over my calorie count, do I say, well, fuck it, I already went over, I might as well just order Grubhub and lay on this couch? I was going to say and watch TV, but I don't have a TV here anymore because it's sold. No, right? I keep continuing on my journey. When I step on the scale and it's higher than where I expected it to be, do I say, well, fuck it, what's the point? No, nothing changes. I keep continuing on because I'm working on my habits. I'm building my habits. There's a question here from Sammy. Hi, Sammy. Do you think this messes with your metabolism? No. If you need proof on that, all you have to do is watch my videos, see where my weight is. If my metabolism was shot, I wouldn't be able to eat as much as I do and still keep the weight off or continue to lose the weight. So the answer to that is no, at least for me, right? But maybe it's different for everyone. Depends on the person. But I have no issues when it comes to metabolism. And you're also talking to somebody who has been overweight, obese, morbidly obese for 40 plus years. So if you want to talk about a fucked up metabolism, right? That's probably the time to look at it. When I was 5 years old and was overweight, when I was 25 years old and I was overweight or obese, right? When I was 40 and that way. I mean, right? This is me, I think, kindergarten. I was like 5 years old. This is my kindergarten picture. I was an overweight kid my entire life. And at my heaviest, weighing 235 pounds at 5'3", 5'3". I'm short, right? A lot of people could have said then my metabolism was fucked up. If anything, my metabolism is where it needs to be with what I'm doing. The fact that I push harder when I'm at the gym and lifting weights, the energy that I have every single day. So I feel like I'm in a pretty good place, is the best way to put it. If you look at this slide, I have done 11 rounds of ADF, right? But I've also had a 90 plus hour fast. This 90-hour fast happened because last Saturday, I ended up eating 7,500 calories when I was out with friends and family. I gained a ton of weight, but I put myself on a long fast to help offset that. And I ended up losing more weight than when I ate the 7,500 calories. Now, here's the thing. If we look at my fasted weight, right? Look at this. My weight has continued to push itself down from 169.6 pounds down to the low 160s, down to the 150s. And over the last 5 refeeds now, or over the last 5 fasts, I have been dropping down into the 140s, slowly finding myself hopefully to the low 140s and then breaking into the 130s. But look here, look at where it's highlighted in red. Look at the weeks where I gained weight. This morning, I'm currently 41 plus hours fasted. This morning at the 30 something hour mark, I'm up again in weight. Many people step on that scale and they just demoralize themselves. They step on the scale and they're like, what is the point of doing any of this? Imagine if my reaction was the same way. I'm 30 plus hours fasted. I step on the scale. I'm heavier than last time. That is demoralizing for many people. And look at this here too. Look at where the last two red highlight marks are. I have gained weight after each ADF. But there's no part of me that is changing my routine. My habits are set. I know the habits I'm doing are good and healthy. There's no part of me that's going to give up. I know I'm putting myself at a caloric deficit. I know I'm continuing to lose fat. I know I'm continuing to build muscle. And those two things, those are the only things that are important for me right now. Am I still able to fit into my clothes? Can I still fit into this boys extra large shirt? Can I still fit into my boys size 10 to 12 pair of shorts? Those non-scale victories mean a lot more than what the number on the scale says. And even as I look at that, right? Look at these last 5 fasted weigh-ins: 149.8, 148.4, 149.8, 148.4, 145.8, 146.4, 147.2. So I put on about a pound and a half, about a pound and a half over the last 2 refeeds. This is also coming off of a 90-hour fast where my weight just dropped. And now I've been eating every other day again and only fasting every other day. So I know that the weight is going to fluctuate. It isn't going to change my routine. It isn't going to change my mindset. My mindset stays strong because I know I am incorporating good, healthy habits. What does the scale matter if your habits are not set? If you're still practicing bad habits, if you're still doing the same bad shit over and over and over again. I show this because this is the reality of how the scale goes. I'm showing you all right now what imperfect consistency looks like. Do you think eating 7,500 calories is perfect? Is that how we should all be eating? No. But I show it because I know I eat in big volumes. When the scale is pushing itself up, even after a fast, are those the results of perfection? No. But it doesn't change what I'm doing. It doesn't change the tune of me taking care of myself, me realizing that the only important things in life is to be happy and healthy. I'll say that again. The important things in your life should be your happiness and your health. Because without those things, what's the point in life? What's the point in life if you're not happy? What's the point in life if you're not healthy? And it doesn't mean that you're not going to have days when you're not happy. It doesn't mean that you're not going to have days when you're feeling bad about doing X, Y, and Z. But if the habits are built in and you keep striving and you keep working towards practicing good, healthy habits, you're so much better for it. Better than just what a scale says. It doesn't matter what that number says. That number will eventually find its way down as you are working on yourself. That is what I aim to show all of you as I practice imperfect consistency day after day after day. So obviously, my journey isn't just because of fasting. It's also because of the way I eat. The evolution in the way I've eaten has changed over time. In the last 11 refeeds, if you want to look at some nerd stats here, in the last 11 refeeds, my average refeed time is right under 4 hours. My average calories per refeed is about 3,300 calories. My average protein per refeed is 197 grams or close to 200 grams of protein per refeed. The average refeed time I'm good with. I mean, that could be probably even 5 hours. I'd be fine with that. I try not to stretch my refeed time for so long because that's when I end up overeating or snacking on shit I shouldn't be eating. My protein, I'm good with. I like being up there when it comes to protein because protein is satiating. Protein helps build muscle. But if you look at my average calories per refeed, I'm eating on average over the last 11 refeeds about 3,300 calories. I'd like to bring that down to 3,000 or less. But like I said, just because that number is higher, just because there have been some refeeds where I overeat, am I beating myself up? Am I saying this isn't worth it? Am I saying, what's the point if the scale's moving up? Might as well just overeat, order Grubhub, lay on the couch. No, I don't do those things because those are bad habits. Yes, they're bad habits that I have still done. They're still going to happen, I know, in the future, but I am trying to lessen the frequency of that happening. This is what I'm talking about when you are building habits. It doesn't mean that your bad habits are going to turn overnight. But what it means is the frequency of them can become less and less and less. That's the important part here. Can you break those bad habits? Can those bad habits become something that isn't just, they're so embedded in your daily routine that you probably don't even recognize them as bad habits anymore. It's just something that happens when you are triggered by something. When you emotionally eat, when you stress eat, when you comfort eat, when you eat out of boredom, that's all based out of habit. Those habits can change. You just have to find what's triggering you, how to break them, and how to move forward from it. Like I said, it doesn't mean that every day you're going to overcome those bad habits. But what it also doesn't mean is that you can't work to break them. You can. You'll find your way. You have to put the effort in to break those habits. My last 3 refeeds, just in case you're curious, like I said, last Saturday, I ended up having a quote unquote 20% day. 20% meaning that 80% of the time I am on my game. I'm keeping my calories low. I'm making sure that my lifting and my cardio is on point, right? 80% of the time. The other 20%, I'm not tracking calories as thoroughly. I'm giving myself more of a rough estimate. My food choices aren't always the best. And I had that 20% day on August 9th, where I ended up eating over 7,500 calories. I ended up having to do a longer fast, which is why the refeed after that was 4 days later. On the 13th of August, I ate 3,600 calories. It was still over the 3,000 that I was trying to aim for, but it didn't stop me. And then if you see 2 days later, I tried again to keep it under 3,000. I was a little over, but I told myself this is better than going over the 3,600, right? Kept the protein high still. And that's just the change, the evolution in what I'm doing. Obviously, every time I refeed, I gain weight. Weight gets put on every time I refeed, and it's usually around 2.5 to 3.5 pounds. But you'll see here in my last 3 refeeds, the weight gain 7 pounds, 6.5 pounds, 6.2 pounds, right? That's a lot higher than what it was on my previous refeeds. It is discouraging sometimes to see the weight push itself up that quickly. But I also know that it's temporary. I know that just because I gained 6 pounds on the scale doesn't mean that I gained 6 pounds of fat. I will say this every single day until we all realize that that weight on the scale is just a combination of water, waste, and yeah, if you overate, maybe a little extra fat on there from overeating. But my last refeed was under 3,200 calories over a 48-hour time period, which means that I had a caloric deficit, but I didn't gain 6 pounds of fat. And I also didn't lose 6 pounds of fat the next day when the weight comes back down. It's more than just fasting. We're talking about my refeed length. We're talking about making better choices when we're eating. We're talking about when I go for my walks, when I climb a flight of stairs, when I'm taking public transit, when I'm at the gym and I'm lifting weights, when I'm giving myself a good sleep routine, and making sure that things don't trigger me emotionally, that I'm not using comfort or I'm not using food to comfort eat, that I'm not using food to eat out of boredom. That's me putting mental health, the mental part of this game, into play. Always working on a lever when it comes to weight loss. My daily step average over the last 25 days has been over 16,000 steps per day. Still putting a lot of walking in. Yesterday's step count was 14,000 steps, even though I give myself about a 15,000 step average per day. I always tell myself, let's get 15,000 steps in. Yesterday, when I didn't hit 15,000, did I give up? Did I overeat? Did I stop fasting? No, none of those things. It's just one small part. One of the reasons I didn't get the 15,000 steps in is because I have been spending so much time in here cleaning, packing shit up. I'm just not putting the same steps as I typically do because I got to get myself out of this apartment and have it clean. I got to get these walls fixed. I have a lot of shit that I need to do, right? But as stressed as I am with everything that I need to do, I am not letting food, my coping mechanism, my old coping mechanism, my bad habit of a coping mechanism, I'm not letting that take over. It's a huge shift from what I used to do. On top of that, strength training every other day, right? Every other day, I lift weights. I love lifting weights, especially the day after a refeed, because that's when I have the most energy. Enut, I was just looking at your comment there saying a bad habit I'm going to break is catching the F. What's catching the F? Am I reading that wrong? Once I stumble, or if you're just saying fuck it, if that's what you mean, I'm going to learn from it. But that's kind of what I mean. If any of you are watching this and you are guilty of the all or nothing mentality, if you're guilty of trying so hard one day and then saying fuck it the next day, it's a bad habit. It's something that you are going to need to break. It's not always going to be a clean break. It's not something that some of us might be able to do it. Some of us might be able to just be like, okay, it's never going to happen again. But if you think about it, that kind of thinking that it's never going to happen again, that's all or nothing thinking. If you tell yourself, I'm never going to eat this again, I'm never going to do this bad habit again, I'm never, right? That's all or nothing thinking. You have to drop that kind of thinking. Instead, accept, ACCEPT, accept imperfection. Know that maybe there's going to be a day that you are going to find yourself doing these fucked up things, having these bad habits, but over time, can it be less and less? Here's a perfect example. Today is 600 and what of my journey? 651. 651 days of my journey, right? 651 days of imperfect consistency. I've binged 2 times in the last 651 days. Do you know how many times I binged prior to starting my journey or restarting my journey when I was gone from YouTube for 2+ years? I probably binged almost every single day back then. That's how bad it was. That's how bad it was for me. So let's say in those 2+ years, I binged 700+ days versus 2 days now in the last 651 days. The frequency is way less because the habits have been instilled in me. On the days when I didn't live stream and I didn't want to be accountable and I didn't show up, that sucked. I'm sure there were some of you who were like, where's Jerome today? Where's the live stream? He always does these. I look at that and I'm like, yeah, I fucked up on that day too. I think I've done it twice since I've come back to my channel. But I look at that still as a win because I've learned to be like, okay, it happened. Get back up, show up again. And of course I did. And now I'm doing it every single day. Now, I can't say I'm going to do daily live streams forever, but I know a lot of people find use out of this. And if it's helpful for you, I hope to continue to do so, at least for the time being, while I can physically do so, because I know eventually I'm going to have to get back to the other things I'm doing in life here, like working on videos and working on my app and so on and so forth. So, what's my Spike? Daily live streams forever. I don't know about that, man. I don't know about that. We'll see. Calories in, calories out, right? I've been tracking my calories. I've been giving myself a rough estimate of what I've been taking in, right? In the last 25 days, since I gained the 30 pounds, in the last 25 days, I have taken in 36,000 calories, but I have also expended 57,000 plus calories, which has put me in a deficit of over 21,000 calories or 6.1 pounds of fat in the last 25 days. In the last 25 days, I have taken 6+ pounds of fat off of me. Again, just to reiterate, the scale might show 25 pounds lost, but I didn't lose 25 pounds of fat. Losing 6 pounds of fat in the last 25 days is huge. That's still a huge deficit to lose that weight, to lose that excess fat. That is what I'm trying to lose. That is what I'm trying to get off of me, is excess fat. I couldn't care less what the scale says. Yes, it'll still fuck with my head. Let's not, I'd be lying if I said I don't step when I step on the scale and it pushes itself up. It doesn't mean that it doesn't get in my head, but I do not react to it in that way. I don't say, well, fuck it. What's the point? Right? Instead, I look at things like, is my caloric deficit still on pace? And it has, because I'm 21,000 calories in a deficit. And 2 days ago, that number was somewhere closer to, I think, like 19,000, right? So that number continues to add up every single day. And as the days continue and as I continue to fill that out, you will see that fat come off of me. At least that's my hope. At least my hope is I can keep pushing on and doing the same protocol, being as transparent as possible. Blue Ocean asks, where can I find the link for the Wednesday meetups? Blue Ocean, if you go to the link in my description, if you go into the description of this live stream, there is a link where you can join or be part of the Finally Fasting fam. You would have to join the autophagy group, but we meet up 3 times a month on Wednesdays for about 45 minutes, sometimes longer than that, but you'll also have access to all the older live streams. So if you want to check those out, you can see their group coaching sessions. So I'll talk about that in a minute. So that's currently where I'm at today. My goal tonight, because I'm refeeding tonight, is you saw it, my last 3 refeeds, the first one was 7,500 calories and 3,600 calories and then 3,200 calories. My goal today is to keep it under 3,000 and to keep the protein higher than 190. Does that mean that if I don't eat under 3,000 calories, I'm going to blow shit up? No. If I eat over 3,000, I eat over 3,000. But I will still be aware and mindful about what I'm doing. If I don't eat at least 190 grams of protein, am I going to blow shit up? No. I'm going to still keep pushing along and doing what I need to do. And that's the game plan for today. So at this time, we'll do fit check. Somebody had a comment the other day and said, "You always say you're bloated." And I usually do say I'm bloated the day after a refeed because usually I'm bloated after a refeed. But I feel a little leaner today for the most part. Before I do fit check, I always show these photos. I have been an overweight child, kid, adolescent, teenager, guy in my 20s, 30s, and even in my 40s, right? I'm 44 years old now. I'll be 45 at the end of the year. I show these photos because I think it's really important to let you all know that I've been the fat kid, teenager, adult my entire life. I show it because I want you to understand that I have lost all this weight, not through pills, not through injections, not through surgery, but literally through a combination of fasting, better eating, controlling my calories, going for walks, lifting weight at the gym, lifting weights at the gym, sleeping well, and working on my mental health. Carnivorous teacher asks, Capricorn, I'm a Sagittarius. December 3, 1980. I show this because I want people who might be in the same place that I was. Overweight, obese, morbidly obese their entire life. I just want you to all know that for me, I found a way out without having to resort to pills or injections or surgery. And I'm not knocking any of those things in any way. That's not what I'm saying. I just want people to see and understand that if I can do it, maybe you can too. And you know how? Is by working on your habits. All right, let's do fit check. Gotta move some shit out of the way. Okay, so this shirt, extra large youth. I used to wear extra large or double XL adult shirts, and you can imagine what that might look like on somebody who's only 5'3" at 235 pounds. These shorts are boy shorts. These are a size 10, 12 for boys. If you don't know what that looks like, go to any store and look for a boy's extra large and look for shorts that are size 10 to 12. I am a pretty small guy. So front shot, side shot, rear, side, and there you go. Currently what I look like as of Sunday, August 17th. Do I have loose skin? People always ask me, although I feel like I haven't seen a lot of those questions lately, but yes, I do have loose skin. Maybe I just say it because I'm used to saying it out of habit, right? Loose skin, I do have, right? I have loose skin on my upper arms. Ooh, you can see it more today, right? Loose skin up here. I have loose skin on my lower belly. And again, just so you know, right? Like I still have fat to lose, right? And you'll see it here, right? I got to lose this. But I do have loose skin there. I have loose skin on my upper thighs. One of the reasons I love lifting weights is because I feel like it helps fill out or will at least help with the loose skin. That's why I'll sit here and I'll flex or whatever, but I do feel like it helps the loose skin. Hopefully it'll help the loose skin on my upper thighs as I continue to do like squats and deadlifts and everything like that. So that's fit check. I see a question here from Spike, and Spike, I'll answer that in a second. And I'll just open this up to everyone right now. So for all of you, if you want to ask questions, I will answer as many questions as I can. But in the meantime, while you're waiting or while you're asking questions, if any of you are looking for help when it comes to fasting or weight loss or accountability, if you're looking for an accountability partner or an accountability coach, you can go to finallyfasting.com. You can book a one-on-one session with me. We can talk about a plan and a strategy. My goal is to help you, figure your shit out, is to help you get good habits under your belt. If you're looking for help when it comes to that, feel free to check out finallyfasting.com. You can also go there for merch. I do sell things like stickers. You see them on my, oops, what's this? Oh, shit. Those are receipts. There. I also have hats, like this hat right here. I know this is a very shameless plug. Has Finally Fasting on the side. They're both snapback. They come in Cubs and Sox colors. So, yep. And if you want to help or support in a different way, you can go to the link in my description. If you want to be part of the Finally Fasting fam, you'll get your name on the live streams, on the intros. You'll get custom emoji, or you can join the autophagy tier, and you can join us Wednesday evenings to do our group coaching sessions where we all hold each other accountable. Spike says, Jerome, do you ever plan social outings where you want to look lean for when you're fasting? Yeah, a lot. Spike says, when I go to concerts and want to look sexy, I usually fast and then get drunk off of 2 drinks. I do that. This is actually a really good question because I do this quite a bit. When I know I'm meeting people or seeing people I haven't even seen in a while, I'll fast. But I mean, it's usually because I'm already going somewhere where I'm going to be drinking or eating. So I should already be in a fast anyway, right? So it is something that I do. I don't know if you're just saying it to like-minded, right? It is something that I definitely do. Something that and it just feels good to feel lean, right? At least for me. I like feeling lean. The sexy part. I don't walk around and I'm like, man, I can't wait to feel sexy. But I get what you're saying. So, Blue Ocean says, what time on Wednesdays? So 7:30 p.m. Central, 8:30 p.m. Eastern. What is that? 5:30 p.m. Pacific. What time would that be in the Philippines? I think that would be 8:30 in the morning in the Philippines. I just say that because if you haven't figured it out yet, or if you're new here, that's where I'm moving to. Not when I move out of here in 10 days, but a little later in the year. Okay. I think those are all the questions. Yeah? No other questions? 2 things, right? I usually save these for Sundays, but right? The weight on the scale doesn't define you. It shouldn't define you. The weight on the scale shouldn't devalue you as a person. Do not step on that scale, see a number, and be like, I'm better now, or I'm worse now. When you start doing shit like that, it messes with your head. That number on the scale will fluctuate. You will have days where you are going to get thrown off. You might have days where you might just lose your shit for a while, right? Life happens. Traumatic things happen. Sometimes we lose focus. Sometimes we end up gaining weight when we didn't expect to. Sometimes those things can be curbed through habits, right? Sometimes it's just too hard to hold on, at least in that period of time. But that number on the scale should not fuck with your head. Do not let it devalue you for who you are, right? Respect yourself, accept yourself, Love yourself for who you are today. Hi, Mark. Is it bad that I'm eating McDonald's while watching this? I don't know. Is it your refeed day, or is it a controlled McDonald's meal, or did you just say, fuck it, I'm just going to eat whatever I want and I'm going to eat again and I'm going to start tomorrow, right? I know there's a little humor when you're saying this, but I've seen your comments, Mark, right? It's not like I don't read the comments. I do. And I appreciate and commend you showing up and sharing how things are and that you're struggling. I appreciate you being here right now and even saying this, even in jest, right? Is it bad? I don't know if it's bad inherently, but I think the bigger question is, are you practicing all or nothing right now? Because, right? I don't mean to put you on the spot, but you remember, right? The last time you talked about doing a fast, you talked about doing a 30-day fast. Nothing wrong with doing a 30-day fast if you're able to do it. All I'm saying is, did you have a plan when the 30-day fast didn't happen? Did you give yourself a backup plan? Did you say, well, at least I'm going to X, Y, and Z? This is something that obviously takes time, right? My hope is, as the days pass by, as the weeks pass, as I keep preaching imperfect consistency, that these habits begin to change, that you start figuring your shit out, right? I mean, that's the least that we can do, is take those small steps to really keep pushing forward. You'll have to keep us posted, Mark. I appreciate you. I hope you know that. It means a lot to me for you to be here and even share something like that. Last, why did I say last? Last of all, I'm currently 42 hours and 18 minutes fasted. I share that because, right, you're not alone. Sometimes we're here and we're like, fuck, fasting is so hard. Why do I have to do this? Why is it me? Why me? Why me? Why me? I've been doing this for 651 days. I'm not fasting 40 plus hours all the time. Some days I'm eating back-to-back days. Some days I'm eating after 16 hours, 12 hours. But for the majority of the time, I'm fasting. It's a big part of my foundation. It's a big reason that I keep my weight in check. But it's also because I have been practicing other habits. Fasting is powerful. It's such a powerful tool for me. You all see that. Fasting is so powerful for me. But your habits are what will help your fasting tool along the way. Your habits are what actually lasts. Imagine if I was still doing 90-hour fasts over and over and over for the last however many months this has been now, 650 days, however many months that is. That would be ridiculous. But is that something that would be sustainable? Is it something that I could do consistently? Most likely not. That's why I'm not doing it. That's why after the 90s came the 65s. That's why after the 65s came the 42s, when I was able to limit my calories. You have to evolve eventually. You have to figure your shit out. Let me help you figure your shit out. Continue to show up here. Continue to be accountable. Those things will help you figure your path. Mark said 3-day fast happened. Okay, so you're doing your shit, right? Dude, I keep trying. Got to get my mind in check. You will. I think the more you show up, the more you put your shit into practice. This also, you know what? And Mark, like, I know you and I haven't ever had a conversation, but it makes me wonder then, like, do you do cardio? Do you lift weights? Do you have a good sleep routine, right? When you do eat, are you eating because you're getting triggered by something outside of just being hungry? There's nothing wrong with being hungry, but also, are you making better choices? I know McDonald's isn't the best choice, but I'm also not saying that you can't ever eat it. All I'm saying is throughout your journey, are you continuing to make more mindful choices? So, I mean, these are things I think that many of us experience. I just, I hope you know you're not alone. As I show my timer to all of you, it's to show you all that you're not alone on your journey. I just hit the timer. I'm glad. I'm glad. I'm glad you're being aware. Aisha, Aisha, I know you were commenting earlier and I didn't get to see everything you wrote. Um, I'm definitely into all or nothing thinking, like many of us are, right? And I know Aisha's on a super long fast, right? You're still on that, Aisha? I didn't get a chance to. I'm actually scrolling up here to see. Yeah, Aisha's 21 days into her fast. My weight's still the same, but I'm going strong. Um, like Aisha's on a super long fast. 21 days is incredible. But Aisha also says, I'm definitely into all or nothing thinking. I sometimes worry that I won't reach my goal. I do have a couple backup plans in place if I need to break early. The way I look at this too, Aisha, is even if you were to break right now, right? And I'm not saying it to discourage you. I'm not saying it because I'm trying to get you to break. I'm just saying that regardless if you break right now or not, 21 days is amazing. It's amazing progress. But also, you have to continue getting better at what happens when you don't fast for that long. You have to continue getting better at making mindful choices when you eat. You have to get better at making sure that you're not emotionally eating or stress eating or boredom eating, right? These are things that will take time. Blue Ocean says, sorry for so many questions. Aisha, by the way, congrats again. Blue Ocean says, sorry for so many questions. Don't apologize. That's why there's a Q&A here. How long are the Wednesdays? They're about 45 minutes to an hour. I'm asking because of my schedule. Yeah, about 45 minutes to an hour. So if you end up joining, all you have to do is watch some of the old live streams because all of the Wednesday night live streams are available for people who are members. You can see how they work. Last Wednesday, we went a little longer. We were a little over an hour. So, but typically they're around 45 minutes. They're done about 3 times a month. We will be having one this Wednesday. And then next Wednesday, I'm taking a day off because I have something going on. So, okay. Right. I agree. Smell, smelly. It's just weird to say. It's human to error. It is. We're not perfect. None of us are perfect. And there's nothing wrong with that. All right, everyone, that should be it for today. Thank you for stopping by today. Thank you for showing up, sharing accountability. Thank you for talking to me in chat. Thank you for giving me a platform to share what my day is like and how things are going. I appreciate you sharing your story with me as well. I always love being able to go through chat, reading, and seeing how people are doing. If anything, it helps really build this community that we have here. So let's do this again. I'll be here tomorrow. We'll be doing this earlier in the day. That's usually when I have more time. So again, this live stream was earlier tonight. It wasn't at the normal 7:30 p.m. because I'm breaking and I wanted to eat earlier and not fall asleep when I'm refeeding because I don't want to fall asleep and miss dessert. Oh my God, that would be a nightmare if I did that. So, all right, everyone, that's it for me today. Thank you again for being here. We'll do it again tomorrow. Keep showing up, keep being accountable, keep practicing imperfect consistency. And then remember, what is a good habit that you can start building today? It doesn't mean that habit has to, if your habit of taking steps every day is there, take some steps. 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Don't say I'm going to do 10,000 steps for the rest of my life. When you start doing shit like that, that all or nothing thinking is going to fuck with your head. If the habit is getting steps in, get some steps in. If it means that you're just going to walk down the block and walk back, just do it, right? It's doing that will start rewiring your brain. It doesn't mean you have to do it every day for the rest of your life, but hey, if you don't take steps at all, and 1 week you do it 3 times out of the week, and then the next week you do it 2 times, and then the week after that 4 times, and then another 3 times, you know what? You're rewiring your brain. You're telling your brain, hey, this is okay. I can do this. You're learning. You're putting yourself in an uncomfortable position and growing from it. That is how you grow. Think about what good habits you can set forth, and then think about what bad habits you can continue to drop. What bad habits can you continue to break? It doesn't mean that the bad habits are going to go away forever, but those bad habits, if they can become less frequent, why not? Love your MF Doom tattoo, Jerome, says YOLO. Thank you. MF Doom is one of my favorites. I actually have his metal mask too. I think I boxed it away already. It's no longer here, but I still have it. All right, everyone. Thanks again for showing up today. Thank you for your accountability. Special thanks to people who are part of the Finally Fasting fam. That support helps me. It doesn't go unnoticed. That's why I put your names at the very beginning of my intros. So thanks so much. Savage Dad asks, what food are you looking forward to eating in the Philippines? What foods? Everything, pretty much. I love so much Filipino food, almost all Filipino food. I mean, one of my favorite things to eat is breakfast kind of foods, any silog, I love eating. Palabok is probably one of my favorite Filipino foods, sisig as well. And obviously lechon. God, there's just so much. So anyway, I can go on and on. You'll probably all get to see what that looks like. I'll probably be doing videos where I will be showing what I eat. So yeah. Anyway, that'll be it. We'll talk soon, everyone. Yes, Anna Q, Lumpia, for sure. Definitely. One of my favorites as well. All right, everyone. That's it for me. Have a good one. Talk soon. See you tomorrow. Show up tomorrow. Show some accountability. All right, but all right. All right, everyone. Bye. That's what I wanted to say. All right. Bye.